All right, the cows are way over there. Let's go ahead and call them over here and put them in the next pasture. Come on, girls. I might have to walk up there. Here they come. They're following Lisa. Come on, girls. I just hope most of the calves come. Usually they get caught between the gate and the fence. Come on. Going out into the new pasture. To the back. This happens every year. Once you let them into a new pasture, the younger ones can't find their way. So I have a gate down below here we got to open, and then there's a gate back where we came from that's open. But they get lost, and the older ones will come back and get them. See, I got electric in between these calves and the other ones in the other field there. I have a little project I have to do before we actually start plowing. I've got to change the points on the chisels. You can see here there's 7 chisels, and there's lefts and there's rights. So I got them here, and we got to put those on before we start plowing. You can see the points. They're a little bit worn. Okay, they're not too bad, but I think I'm going to go ahead and change them. And then you could flip these and use the other side. This is what a new one looks like right there, and on the other side it looks like that. So once that side gets worn, you just flip it and you can use the other side. So that's what I need to do. I got to change all 7 of them. There we go. That one came right off. And all it takes is 2 bolts. There's 5 holes in these blades, but you're only going to use the bottom 2. Well, I got all 7 blades on, and it went pretty good. I didn't have to pull out my grinder wheel to grind off the bolts. They all came out. And here's what the old blades look like. So I could have probably still used them. They're rounded off, and if you wait too long, then you can't take off these nuts that are in the back. They wear down. So we got all 7 on. Let's go plow. Okay, here's the field that we're going to work on. Lisa's coming out with the tractor here and the disc chisels. And you can see there's a lot of high grass over on this side. That side there's not. I had corn in here last year. And what I decided to do was do the same thing as the other field. I'm going to disc chisel this area, leave the middle open, and the other side over there, we're gonna put hay. So we're gonna put hay, corn, hay. We're gonna put corn right down the middle. So she's going to disc chisel where the hay is going to go. Lisa's going to get in position here with the disc chisels. There she goes. Well, Lisa's down there plowing away. But look at all this high grass. We got all this rain. And this grass got really tall. And it's sort of hard to turn it over, but you know, it's going to go right back into the ground. It's going to help the ground. Once we disc it up, it will be all ground up and put right back into the soil. And you can see what it looks like disc chiseled. Now, if I was to moldboard plow this, you wouldn't see as much, but that'll help the ground. I want to show you something else about this field. You see all this grass to my right, and you look to my left and there's hardly any grass. Well, this side, this whole field was no-tilled. This side was plowed, sprayed, no-tilled. This side was no-tilled, sprayed, okay, not plowed. And look at the grass that came in, the orchard grass. It just grew right back. And if you look at the section that I tilled, there is hardly any orchard grass at all. So that makes a difference, you know, tilling it and non-tilling it. You can see how the no-till made that, you know, just no-tilling this side made this grass come back. And by tilling it, it didn't come back. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to start spraying here soon, but before I do that, I wanted to show you the difference between a new sprayer and an old sprayer. I want to show you the difference in each of them and the benefits of each one. Okay, my new sprayer here is sort of like the Cadillac of sprayers. It has everything that you would want. It's sort of like buying a tractor. Do you want all the bells and whistles, the sensors and everything? Or do you want a plain Jane, get the job done? Well, this particular sprayer, it has a speed sensor, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is called a speed sensor, and it's a magnet. You can see it right there. It just goes underneath the tractor. Well, it sends a signal, and it can read how fast you're going. And it has an actual computer to it. This is called a Raven. And the Raven compensates, when you program it, it compensates the flow metered by the speed sensor underneath the tractor and tells the sprayer on how much to put out depending how fast you're going with the tractor, if that makes sense. So however fast you're going, it compensates for that speed and puts the same amount per acre no matter how fast you're going to go with that tractor. So this is the Raven. This is the control panel that controls the wings of the sprayer and the arms. And this is the foamer down below. So I made this little mount here for it. I put a pipe on my tractor and got it off the floor here. It's got all these wires. I got fuses in here. This is all connected to this fuse box. So if anything goes wrong with any one of these, the fuse can blow in here and I'll know exactly where to look for it. Okay, this newer sprayer here, it has an induction tank, a foam tank, and a wash tank. The induction tank is where you put the chemicals, and it goes into the sprayer, into the big tank back there. That's a 500-gallon tank, and it mixes the chemicals up for you. The foam tank is for the markers on the end of the boom to tell you where the end of your spraying is done so that you don't overlap too much out in the field. So that's a big help there. That'll save you on chemicals. And this is a wash tank. The wash tank is when my big tank goes empty, I could turn this wash tank on and it'll flush out that 500-gallon tank and clean things out while you're out in the field. So you could see the booms here. There are 60 footers, okay? And here's my foam discharge right here on the ends. But it's all hydraulic. So it'll go up, down, fold the wings out, in, and there's all these filters on the lines. I got like 6 of them that are going around and filtering out the lines in case you get some stuff in there and it wants to plug up. And on this newer sprayer, the tips right here, say you got this one plugging up, I could shut it off here, take this off, clean this tip, and not get chemicals all over me. So that's pretty neat. But yeah, right now, as you can see, I've been working on this sprayer. And the reason why I've been working on it, these are ball valves, okay? And this is a control panel that opens and shuts certain lines to allow me to do different functions, okay? And I gotta stress this. I just want to say that when you go to store these in the wintertime, it's very, very important to get all your water out of the lines. Some people put antifreeze through it so the lines don't freeze if there is some water in there. But make sure that you empty all the lines as much as you can, because when I started this up this spring, I had some valves that cracked and some lines that cracked, and I have to replace them. So you could see there's a lot of lines. There's a, like I said, there's actually a flow control valve underneath, okay, and that compensates for your flow of the chemicals going down. Right here I can either fill it up or drain it going through this line here. It has a PTO driven pump, okay, and that causes pressure for me, and I usually like to go about 40 pounds on the gauge. That's about how much I like to do. Okay, so that's a little bit about, without getting too technical, that's a little bit about my newer sprayer. Now let's check out my old sprayer. Okay, this is my old sprayer. This is a Century, and this is a 500-gallon tank. Okay, now look at it. It has no control valves. Okay, the only valve I have is a faucet valve, which is like right here, and that allows the chemicals to go from the tank through the pump and out to my booms. And you could see that the booms in the back, they're not as wide as my new sprayer. They're not 60 foot, and you have to manually get in here, make sure you don't get dripped on, and take these booms and put them down manually. So that's one disadvantage to having this old sprayer to having the new one. The new one here is all hydraulic, and I don't have to touch the booms. When I lower the booms and I go out to the field, I have no way of telling where I end it with my row, because I don't have foam markers. And that's the nice thing about the new sprayer, is I got foam markers on it in the back on the end, and it lets out foam and it tells me where I'm at. This old sprayer, I pretty much got to make my turn, check to see where my wheel marks are, and compensate by looking at that. And as far as the booms go on this old sprayer, I think they're about 17 feet compared to 60 feet. So the new sprayer, I'm putting down 20 gallons an acre, okay? Whereas the old sprayer, I'm putting down roughly, give or take, around 12 gallons an acre. Now, this sprayer here, the Century sprayer, is also ran by a PTO pump, just like on my new sprayer over there. It's the same pump, and that causes the pressure for me to go out and spray. And I also like to go 40 pounds with this sprayer too. And how I reach that 40 pounds is the RPMs on the tractor. You can hike up the RPMs. It hikes up your poundage on the sprayer. So that's the Century sprayer. It's pretty simple. If you go to store it, there's not a lot of lines to drain. Okay, you can see right here, this is it. All I got to do is pretty much take that main one off, let it drain out, clean it out, and it's ready to store. Now the pump here, you have to drain those pumps too, or you know, if you want to put them in your basement or whatever where it's warmer, that's what I do with those. Okay, now you can see that I was having problems with my new sprayer over there with the ball valves and things cracking. Another problem that I had was my speed sensor ripped off. That speed sensor that was underneath the tractor, it ripped off, and I was unable to use that sprayer. Okay, whereas this old sprayer, I have no speed sensor, I have no computer, I am just putting it down at 40 pounds, okay, of pressure. But when I go to stop, when I go to start, the spray is not consistent because I don't have a flow control valve to control the amount of chemicals I'm putting down at what speed I'm going. So that's the only disadvantage to this also. But I can tell you this, what sprayer am I using now? Being that I have to spray, I got to put corn in the ground. My new sprayer's down, so I'm going with the old sprayer.